As you've likely heard, Harvard students have been holding protests for the past few weeks, both in solidarity with students at the University of Missouri and to make their own demands. Among them, they want the law school seal changed because the current image is derived from the family crest of an 18th century slaveholder, Isaac Royal Jr., whose estate funded the first professorship there. Now Harvard is looking into what appears to be an incident of racially motivated vandalism overnight. Black tape was placed over the faces of the portraits of some of the law school's tenured black faculty. Among the defaced portraits was that of Harvard law professor Ron Sullivan, also the director of the school's Criminal Justice Institute. Ron joins me now. Ron, I really appreciate your coming.
Thanks, John.
Student activists have told Greater Boston that they put tape over the seal a couple of days ago. Was tape over the faces of people like you and some of your colleagues a response? Is that what your sense is?
That's my sense. I mean, it's almost impossible to say, but it seems as though it's a response to the anti-royal movement at the law school.
What do you make of this? I mean, on its face, I have to say, as an outsider, it appears like racism. I mean, is that a step too far?
You know, it may not be. So on the one end of the spectrum, it could be just a really stupid act by young people who just made a boneheaded decision. On the other end, it could be a hate crime, just a absolutely racial response to students protesting about the royal seal.
Well, I don't know if this following quote is going to go as far as the hate crime, but clearly the woman who runs the law school is leaning towards the racism thing. Here's a quote from her today. This is Martha Minow.
Yeah.
Racism is a serious problem at the law school. Is she just talking about these set of incidents, or is there a broader problem going on there?
Well, the law school is not hermetically sealed from the rest of the universe. So the same sorts of problems you find with respect to race in the broader universe you find at the law school as well. I think Dean Minow's response had to do with today's episode specifically.
But it's just staying at the law school for a second. Racial tension is not new. There's actually a video, which I'm sure everybody's seen. There's a guy you may recognize 24 years ago who's at a protest. It's in support of a guy, a professor, a black professor, named of Derek Bell, who was threatening to resign unless a tenured woman black professor was put on the campus. See if you recognize this guy.
He hasn't done it simply because of the excellence of his scholarship. Although his scholarship has opened up new vistas and new horizons and changed the standards of what legal writing is about. Open up your hearts and your minds to the words of Professor Derek Bell.
Wasn't much of an image, but I'm sure you recognize the voice. That was obviously Harvard law student Barack Obama. So has this been going on for a while? I mean, that was 24 years ago. Has there been racial tension at the law school long before this whole seal deal?
Oh, sure. I mean, law students
over what kinds of things?
Well, faculty hiring for one. That's what President Obama, then just Barack, was talking about, faculty hiring. That's about the treatment of people in the classroom. But I would be remiss if I did not say that there have been significant improvements over those 24 years. So law students tend to be activists. They push. The university has responded, the law school at least has responded in many sorts of ways, but the problem's not remedied. And this generation of students are finding other issues, and they are insisting that they too are part of Harvard.
What's your personal reaction to seeing an image of yourself with a strip of black tape over your face?
It was terribly unsettling. Whenever you see faces wiped out, that connotes erasure. Silencing, and it makes me really think that I can really empathize with what students experience when they are saying that we feel as outsiders at our own school. We feel as though we don't want to be here. Can I say, though, I was as upset as I was when I saw the tape there. I was extraordinarily heartened when students left what they called love notes.
Little post-its all over.
Little post-its all over the black faculty's portraits, and I thought that was, those are the Harvard Law students that I know and the Harvard Law students that I love.
You know, Ron, as troubling as what happened overnight at Harvard Law School is, it fits a pattern that we've been seeing. We all know about racial tensions at Yale, particularly after this Halloween thing there. Everybody knows about the University of Missouri. That's on the surface. Is this going deeper? Is this going on all over the place, not just at those handful of universities and graduate schools?
Oh, absolutely. And
What's the common theme?
the common theme is that African Americans all over the country are still feeling as though they are not an integral part of the larger community, that there are still systemic forces and individualized forces that are preventing them, hindering their full access to the American dream. And that you see students from Harvard and Yale, some of the most elite institutions in the world, feeling this same thing should be a wake-up sign to the country that that we really have to address this issue. Because most people would think that those students, there used to be an expression, Jim, your future's so bright you need sunglasses. Students at Harvard and Yale, they've got a really bright future. That they are standing up in protest is a clarion call to the country that we really need to fix this.
Quickly, should that seal be changed at Harvard Law School?
I think so, yes.
Ron Sullivan.
Thanks.
Thank you very much for coming in.